When faced with some delays or challenges in gross motor development, so many parents report to us that they've seen some incredible progress and improvement with their child in movement-based therapies like PT, OT, speech therapy. But often over time they run into some tough spots and start to plateau. And many other families feel fully frustrated because they're just not seeing results from PT and other therapies at all. Nearly every single time in these cases, we find out there is one crucial aspect of gross motor function that has not yet been found or taken care of. And so when parents learn this number one missing link and how to get it improved, how to get it back online, progress and development take off like a rocket once again. This video is for parents who are concerned that their child may be experiencing some gross motor delays, noticeably with tummy time, rolling over, sitting up, crawling, walking, or already in PT and other traditional therapies, and they're just not seeing the full results or the complete results that they're looking for. In this video, I'll break down the key motor milestones kids should be going through and in what essential order or sequence they should be happening in. And most importantly, you'll learn the most overlooked part of the body in the neuromuscular system that is not even evaluated by regular pediatricians or pediatric physical therapists. That is the neck and our neurospinal system. When you learn about how kids have the most amount of stress and tension actually stuck in those areas, you'll better understand why perhaps their core and their extremities are experiencing this low tone that we've been told. One of our favorite stories to add to this topic comes from a colleague of ours, and that's the story of Tegan. After a long battle with gross motor delays, watching Tegan walk for the first time in just 3 days after starting neurologically focused chiropractic care was enough to make mom and dad cry some serious happy tears, and everyone in the office for that matter too. From early on, Tegan always had been delayed in her gross motor developmental milestones. She was late to roll over, she couldn't sit up until about 10 months, she didn't crawl until she was about 14 months, and at nearly 2 years of age, standing on her own and walking was a huge challenge. She was so uncomfortable being in free space that she could only walk with support holding her up, right? Along a wall, mom, dad's hand, whatever. Not typical at all for a 2-year-old who should be walking, running, jumping, climbing with relative ease. So she also struggled mightily with constipation and immune challenges. And if you've kept up with our other content in the past, this should be no surprise to you at all. It's all connected, right? With her neuroimmune system being so out of whack, she even started having occasional febrile seizures. And for a long time they did PT for Tegan, but mom said that the progress seemed very slow and plateaued. This was because Tegan had deeper levels of neurological stress and dysfunction to address first. Remember, on our developmental period, the foundation is always the nervous system function and support and balance first. Then we can add in the PT and the OT and all that type of stuff on top of that. And eventually even address the diet and the big brain function as icing on the cake. For Tegan, whether it was walking, talking, sleeping, pooping, it was like her body knew how to do it, but there was all this interference and coordination holding her back. Nervous system interference maybe, right? After just a week into care, mom was able to slap that check mark next to her big, hairy, audacious goal to get Tegan walking. Not only was she standing up on her own, taking steps without support, but she started taking full laps around the office of our friends at PwC. Mom said her confidence is through the roof. She's walking, she's standing in free space, she's standing up from the floor. Absolutely incredible. So now Tegan is sleeping through the night. She's pooping with ease. Her speech started to explode as well. Remember, we get that foundation and then all that other stuff comes on top of it. All of her developmental milestones were back on track. We could not be more excited for Tegan and her family. Special thanks for Dr. Tony and his team for letting us share that win. Starting out, it's important to know that the nervous system first controls the muscular system, right? The nervous system controls the muscular system. And therefore, in order to fully address those gross motor functions, you must first address any abnormal stress or tension on the central nervous system, our brain and neurospinal cord, in order to really get to that root cause. The central hub for the nervous system, for the central nervous system, is located within the brainstem and neurospinal system, the two areas that are not commonly evaluated by a pediatrician or a pediatric physical therapist, but is the focus and expertise of, you guessed it, pediatric chiropractors. Without a doubt, the function of the brainstem, The neck and that neurospinal system as a whole are far more important and essential to gross motor development than the core or the extremities. Those vital areas, brainstem, neck, neurospinal system, are very commonly injured during the birthing process. Think about pulling, twisting, turning by interventions such as forceps, vacuum, induction, C-section deliveries. And although these interventions are oftentimes can be life-saving, they don't come without repercussions. One being the starting point for delays in gross motor function. This abnormal tone, tension, and coordination within the nervous system is called subluxation. For the vast majority of these cases, if this subluxation and abnormal tone stuck within the central nervous system is not first addressed or adjusted and cleared by a fully trained pediatric chiropractor, it's likely that the results of incredible therapies like PT, OT, and even speech therapy may often be limited, plateaued, or just prevented altogether. And lastly, if gross motor development is not fully completed in order and on time, it can then lead to other neurodevelopmental challenges down the road, such as speech delays, apraxia, sensory processing disorder, ADHD, behavioral and emotional regulation challenges. Remember, our kiddos don't just grow out of these things, they tend to grow into something else. And in order to find out if your child may have this altered neurological tone and coordination issue, again, we call this subluxation, contact us right away to schedule a consultation, a set of insight scans. These can find out, measure, and locate any of the subluxation and dysfunction within your child's nervous system. Any questions, comments about gross motor development, please ask or send us a direct message. Again, please share this with other parents, families, Facebook groups who need this. You never know how far-reaching your actions may be for another family in search of some answers. Give us a call, come have your kiddos checked themselves, and see if we can help. We'd love to help. Thanks.